Sky Attack secures the knockout, we send out Empolion. The opponent blind switches into my arch nemesis, the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Bird of Death, but today is not going to be Talonflame's day. Welcome back to the channel. Yesterday I did ask what newly released Shadow Pokemon would you like to see, and people were asking for Empolion. I'm a man of the people, so I built it. You can see after building it I was left with literally 600 dust. It is what it is, easy come, easy go. I really can't complain, to be honest, as Empolion, including its second move, cost me less than 220,000 dust for a Shadow. In the Open Ultra League, a league where XL Pokemon rule the roost, that is phenomenally cheap, and let me tell you, this thing is unbelievably good. Not only have we got some Shadow Empolion action in the Open Ultra League, I set myself a challenge today. I wanted to run a fully non-XL team, and of course a triple Shadow team. So rounding the team off, we're going to have Shadow Gliscor and Shadow Suicune operating on the Say Switch in an ABB style team. Of course, the idea of the team is to use Suicune to draw out Empolion's hardest counter, with letting the Steel Penguin close the show in style. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we see the Mirror Lead, another Shadow Gliscor. We tank the first move, bank all of our energy and Say Switch into Suicune. The opponent, interestingly enough, running Aerial Ace or Aerial As. Our Suicune Say Switch does exactly what we wanted to do, drawing out something our Steel Penguin doesn't want to see. And I'll tell you what I don't want to see, getting denied. Niantic, please fix this fucking game. We're in Season 17, for the love of God, but undeterred, Suicune says, don't get tilted. I can tank the Leaf Blade and make the Ice Beam. I send back out Gliscor. Attempt to deny this Leaf Blade, throw in the Earthquake. This must be an incredibly attack-weighted Virizion. For them to win CMP, it's probably not traded. It's probably got a 14 or 15 attack. But regardless, the resisted Earthquake doesn't knock out, so I would have had to shield anyway. We pivot into Empolion, and let's go Penguin. The Penguin absolutely core breaking the remainder of the opponent's team. The best this Cresselia can do is hit us with neutral Grass Knots, which is Legacy, but evidently the opponent doesn't even have it as they fire off the Moonblast. We withstand the damage, and then we're just going to look to throw these Hydro Cannons on odd numbers, chipping the health of big bad bulky Cresselia. The opponent this time, YOLO the Future Sight with their Penguin, continues to hold strong. We throw one further Waterfall and the next Hydro Cannon. The opponent chooses not to invest that Protect Shield, and that is just going to be game over. I throw the Hydro Cannon, looking to end the game quickest, anticipating the opponent letting it go, recognising there is no win con left for them. They actually opt to invest that Protect Shield, so I suppose I'm going to have to invest my final one, commit to the Wing Attack farm down, and we're off to a 1-0 start. GG's, and thanks for playing. What the heck is on my screen? Have I woke up and it's back in Season 10? Walrein, a very uncommon pick this season due to the prevalence of Poliwrath. We Say Switch into Suicune, and we're 2 for 2 on grass safe switches. However, one of the reasons that I think Suicune is such a slept-on Say Switch is the ability to hit its grass counters, super effective with that Ice Beam coverage. Of course, we're not going to take back Switch, however we have got Venusaur pretty low where we can send out Gliscor, Wing Attack farm all the way down. However, as that mid-game was so quick, you can see I pause a turn here thinking, hopefully let the Switch Timer cool off. Switch Timer does pop up, we're still going to go for the chip and dip. We fire off the Night Slash. Night Slash goes unshielded. And let's see if Penguin can bail us out for 2 games in a row. The opponent farm up to the potential Earthquake, and I dare the opponent with 2 Protect Shields to nuke me. The opponent tries their luck, masturbating, and we do not shield baits in this household, or at least so I thought. This time must be the Earthquake. The opponent bait me again. What a savage. However, as the opponent's staying in, perhaps we've still got a chance here. We fire off the Drill Peck, forcing the opponent's first Protect Shield, the Penguin, able to make Drill Peck number 2. Unfortunately, it isn't quite enough to knock out the opponent this time, only going to reach one further move. We are going to shield up the Earthquake. Finally, the opponent quits their horrible masturbating habit. The opponent's final Pokemon is Cresselia. I attempt to catch on Gliscor, unsuccessfully. However, even if I would have made that catch, I don't think it'd save us. The opponent still has 1 Protect Shield, 2 hard behind. The opponent actually doesn't overfarm all that much, giving us a chance. The Hydro Cannon forces the Protect Shield. We are going to tank any one move. However, despite Empolion hitting like an absolute truck, Cresselia is without a doubt one of the thickest mon in the format. This Hydro Cannon just isn't going to do enough damage. Even with a couple more Waterfalls, Cresselia is going to reach one further move, and we're going to take a heartbreaking loss. GG's to this opponent, and if you're watching, stop your horrible masturbating habit, because every time you masturbate, a poor defenseless cat dies. In the next battle, we see Gliscor into Giratina. If you watched yesterday's upload, we got wrecked by Giratina Double Charm. So not only have I built a non-XL team today, we've built a team that isn't going to lose to that nonsense. The opponent fire off the Dragon Claw. We're going to bank the Night Slash. Look to catch Dragon Claw. Number 2 onto Suicune. The opponent also try their luck. Catching onto a Alolan Ninetales. And you know, if the opponent say switches in a fucking Charmer, they've definitely got another Charmer in the back. Despite Suicune, running Snarl as a quick move, it's pretty good into Charmers because we're so spammy. We've got decent bulk and these Scolds come thick and fast. We actually invest the Protect Shield. The opponent farmed up to a potential Side Shot, opted to bait. I don't really care because if you're going to see Charmers on the screen, just shield anything because you're not really going to get too many opportunities to use them. The opponent just about survived the next Scold. However, this is only a Weather Ball and it is 2-stage debuff. Weather Ball doesn't knock out. The opponent then pivot out into Giratina, looking to snipe. We pivot back out into Gliscor, fire off the Night Slash. Night Slash goes unshielded and the opponent has fallen into my trap. Just wait to see how sad they're going to be when they see the Penguin. The opponent can literally throw whatever they want. You can have my Gliscor and let's go Penguin. We're going to commit to the full Waterfall farm now and getting some energy together. The opponent does make a Shadow Sneak. However, we all know that Giratina hits like a wet noodle. We ain't going to respect shit. The opponent, of course, waiting out their timer. They're going to look to make a catch back onto that low health Ninetales. All I'm going to do is keep farming up. There's the attempted catch. Not today, trainer. The opponent still has 1 Protect Shield, 2 Hydreigon, which of course they're going to invest on this first Hydro Cannon. And you're about to see just how hard the Penguin hits in neutral situations. Hydro Cannon only costs 40 energy and look at that absurd damage. The opponent looks for the full tap, charm down, farm down. We simul KO, but as Suicune is alive, we take that game. In the next battle, we see someone using a Fairy the way it should be run on Fairy Wind. I love this little cupcake. It was so good back in that Virizion Steelix meta. The opponent throw the play rough. We're going to return fire with the Earthquake. Earthquake goes shielded. I imagine their second move is Flamethrower, so I'm going to attempt to catch it onto Suicune. The opponent shows great discipline, hold their energy, and then say switch into Jellicent. This is another reason I absolutely love the Suicune say switch. Jellicent, of course, is hitting us for neutral the entirety of the time with the Hexes and Shadow Balls. Our Snarls are super effective. These Scolds are resisted, but if you can manage to get a couple of debuffs, this matchup's actually very playable. You can see we go 2 for 2 on debuffs. I'm going to abuse it and enjoy it while it lasts, because when the new season drops, Scold is definitely getting nerfed. The opponent survives the next charge move. However, we're going to survive this Shadow Ball as we attack drop them by 2 stages and Suicune is actually going to be able to win the Zero Shield. I don't want to give the opponent any free farm, so I'm looking to spam the switch. Switching out into Empolion, the opponent sends out Greedent. This is actually a pretty neutral matchup. The mod shots are super effective and they're very spammy to these crunches. However, our waterfall damage is just absurdly oppressive. We don't shield the first crunch because if the opponent gets the debuff, the second one will do even more damage. Again, 3 turn into 2 turn. Always odd number, so I want to throw the first Hydro Cannon. We then reach the second Hydro Cannon on the CMP tie. Emphasis is with the opponent. The opponent chooses to put all their hopes and dreams on the Cupcake. The Cupcake comes back out, opts to throw their energy, and we're now going to save our final shield for Gliscor. Gliscor has residual energy. We've also got Suicune as a potential third shield. I farm up to the Earthquake, full send. Does the opponent respect the damage? Get that Slurpuff out of here, and we take that game. In the next battle, we see Skarmory in the lead, a very heavily excelled Pokemon, and something more commonly seen, of course, in the Great League. I bank the Night Slash, then pivot out into Suicune. I always like to bank some sort of residual energy on Gliscor before switching, because if they've got an electric type, especially Ampharos, it's so difficult to beat if you haven't got energy. The opponent say switch into Skarmory's partner in crime, of course Swampert. Unfortunately, we don't get the Scold attack drops. This Hydro Cannon would be very close to knocking out, if not knockout. So opt to invest the Protect Shield again. I throw 1 Snarl and the Scold. The opponent completely sacks Swampert, and just like that, with Flip Switch, and we're now going to put this Penguin onto Skarmory. We even make a departing Scold, and it looks like the opponents even opted to throw as their Steel Wings are resisted. Scold again doesn't get the attack drop. We do manage to win the charge attack priority, which is best case scenario. We send out the Penguin. The opponent blind switches into the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Bird of Death Wincon from here. It's just going to be a fast move beatdown all the way to the finish. So we catch the Flame Charge onto Gliscor. I'm looking to wing attack farm them down, but the opponent survives on minimal HP. But this is just game over. Flame Charge secures the knockout. 1 Waterfall takes care Of that annoying Firebird back out comes Skarmory. The opponent is going to need to double up on charge moves. They don't get there, and we fast move, beat down everything, and take that game. In the next battle, we see another Giratina in the lead. Pretty neutral matchup for Gliscor. We actually take the extra this time. I'm going to pause a turn, ensuring Giratina is still on the screen before throwing the Night Slash, as I'm always fearful they could have double charm. Night Slash goes unshielded again. We're going to look to catch the Dragon Claw, and just like that, this opponent also running that toxic nonsense. However, this opponent actually opts to say switch into their Sylveon, which is even better, as Sylveon's charge moves, especially a Moonblast, would potentially do quite a lot of damage to our Penguin, whereas Ninetales running Weather Ball and Psyshock can literally do nothing. Again, we opt to shield, looking to get some shields off the opponent. The opponent actually completely sacks Sylveon. We're going to be able to get the resisted Snarl down, and I'm actually going to commit to the Ice Beam. The opponent throw on alignment. We're in the red, but Dragon Claw doesn't get the job done. We get off one further Snarl damage, and that should mean Ice Beam will knock out or force a shield. The opponent just completely sack Giratina. Hi Ninetales, bye Ninetales, get wrecked, and take your double charm nonsense somewhere else. These battles are actually played in the late 2800s. I saw that double charm team 4 times today. So I'm unsure if people are just gatekeeping or trying to push legend with that team. But either way, please run something more fun. In the next battle, we see Dragonite in the lead. We throw the Night Slash, forcing a protection, then pause a turn, catching the Dragon Claw onto Suicune. The opponent might try their luck at catching an Ice Beam. However, I've got other ideas. Shadow Dragonite is so glassy. I'll just go straight for the Scold, and the opponent choose to invest their final Protect Shield. They would have actually survived the Scold, but it still does some very solid chip damage. Does around 50%, maybe a bit more. We've managed to gain ourselves a 2-0 shield advantage. I don't want to play any risky bait games, sending out the Penguins. We send back out Gliscor. Despite us being Shadow and Shadow Crime, we're able to withstand the Dragon Claw and make the Night Slash, and that is going to be enough to knock out Dragonite, and it's time to pivot. Let's go Penguin. The opponent sends out Swampert. I'm likely going to get baited here, however it's very risky to call, as this is my only remaining healthy Pokemon. The opponent does me a huge favour, throwing on alignment, allowing me a free Waterfall. They then pivot out into Cresselia, making that catch. However, this is perfect. Last time we lost to Cresselia, and the Penguin is looking for redemption. We will tank any one move. The opponent looks like they haven't got Grass Knot, which is even better for me as they can only hit us for resisted again. We throw on good timing after 3 Waterfalls. Unfortunately, this Hydro Cannon doesn't quite knock out. You can see I attempt to catch, but of course, 3 turn into 2 turn, I'm stuck in the animation. I'm going to shield this move up. I pivot into Gliscor, anticipating the opponent looking for the snipe. They don't go for it. They manage to mud shot, farm down my flyer. However, we certainly win CMP, and that is going to be game over. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see Cresselia in the lead. The last time the Open Ultra League was here, a few weeks ago, fighters are running rampant. However, you can see the meta has shifted. There's a lot more Psychic types and a lot more Ghost types. Looking to counter them fighters. That's kind of how GBL goes. We're going to check the moveset. The opponent throw the Future Sight. I'm hoping it's Future Sight Moonblast, but either way, we need to say switch. Switching out, trying to draw out any potential Grass or Electric type. The opponent continued to stay in, so I imagine this is actually a Future Sight Grass Knot one, and it is. So I'm going to throw this Scold immediately. Because if I get the debuff, we will survive one further Grass Knot. We do get the attack drops. The opponent's actually going to have to double throw if they're looking to get rid of Suicune, and that's best case scenario. As the opponent hasn't switched out as well. Whatever's in the back can't be particularly good against water, giving Penguin a very good chance at sweeping the opponent. Fire off the double Grass Knots. Suicune used as the damage sponge. Thank you very much for your contribution, buddy. I send back out Gliscor. The opponent not wanting to get farmed down. Send out the Tin Can. I full send the Earthquake. Earthquake goes unshielded, rocking this Tin Can down below half health. We even outpace to the second Earthquake. Does the opponent respect the damage? Get that Reggie out of here. The Tin Can straight in and straight out. Whatever the opponent sends out will be switch locked. They're going to be forced to show their third, which is revealed to be Swampert. Last time I got baited with 2 Protect Shields. I'm here for the content. We're going to call the bait, and no, the opponent returns the favour, nuking me through 2 shields. Fair play, opponent. The only win come for me now is the opponent trying to make a catch. So I'm going to be super disciplined, continue to farm up. The opponent pivots out into Cresselia, giving me 2 free wing attacks. And somehow, despite getting nuked through 2 shields, we're going to be able to win this game. We're going to be able to outpace Swampert. We're both looking to double up on charge moves. You can see there isn't CMP. The first Night Slash forces the opponent's final Protect Shield, and Gliscor bails me out. GG's, and thanks for playing. What a fun battle. That's 3 Earthquakes landed through 2 shields. 2 from me and 1 from the opponent. In the next battle, we see a Lowland Sandslash. This is dreadful for the entirety of my team. I anticipate the opponent over-farming by 1 and then throwing the Ice Punch. The opponent actually hold their energy and then send out Poliwrath, and this looks disastrous. We do manage to get the attack drop on the first go, throwing the Scold. That isn't going to help me flip this matchup. What it is going to do is allow Gliscor to tank a double super effective Icy Wind. Once again, you can see the power of Suicune. Our Snarls and Scolds are resisted, but we manage to get Poliwrath incredibly low. You can see we leave them into the red. The opponent does manage to counter farm me all the way down. However, we're just going to send out Gliscor, commit to the wing attack farm down. After farming the health of Poliwrath, we're going to leave with the Earthquake. We lose CMP to A-Slash, so what I'm going to anticipate is the opponent sending out A-Slash, looking to deny my energy or force a Protect Shield. What they actually do is also anticipate me throwing the Earthquake, trying to catch it on their own Gliscor. Very, very well played, trainer. You can see I attempt to call a bait. There literally is no reason for the opponent to bait. However, that probably is my only win con as I had so much energy. GG's to that opponent. In the next battle, we see Greedent in the lead. The opponent save switches into Giratina. We could save switch into Suicune. However, I'm going to need 2 Ice Beams, so I definitely need to chip and dip. As the opponent continue to farm up energy, I guess I'm committing to staying in now, as I don't want to misalign the switch timer too much. And there's the boost. Let's go, baby. The opponent's only thrown 9. It's actually 10 to the first Shadow Force, so I knew that could only be a Dragon Claw. The opponent's now 1 off the next one. I'm hoping this next wing attack does knock out off the opponent survived, despite us being 2-stage boosted. And I guess we're just going to ride the boost, despite being at low health. If they send back out Greedent, they're going to be unable to mudshot farm down. The opponent does send out Greedent. We're just going to go for the consistent damage, throw in 2 Night Slash. The first one goes unshielded. We get another boost, we farm up, throw the next Night Slash on the CMP tide. Gliscor, this is just unfair. The opponent hanging on to 2 shields, but Gliscor's almost deleted 2 Pokemon. We're just going to send out the Penguin, look for the Waterfall farm down. The opponent aggressively switch out into their Shadow Ninetales, and unfortunately for this opponent, them shields are going to be saved for next season. GG's. In the next battle, we see Tapu Fini, a big yikes. We're going to pivot, of course, into our save switch of Suicune and see what the opponent wants to do. They attempt to catch a Scold onto Guzzlord. We hold our energy, fire off the Ice Beam. Ice Beam goes unshielded, and you can see 2 Ice Beams will definitely get the job done. As the opponent gave us a huge energy lead, this matchup is certainly playable. We're going to look to force both Protect Shield or Take Back Switch. Ideally, I would like Switch because Gliscor into Tapu Fini is just miserable. I'm going to shield up the next Dragon Claw and see how much the opponent wants alignment. Are they willing to 2-shield their save switch? Ice Beam goes unshielded. Just like that, we have Flip Switch. Hopefully we make it a part in Skull, but brutally the opponent gets a huge Water Gun farm down. At least now we can align our Penguin onto Tapu Fini. Once again, you're going to see Empolion's lack of bulk. That Moonblast does huge damage, and they even get the attack drop, which is only a 10% chance. This looks so rough. After having my attack lowered, that Drill Peck didn't do a lot. The opponent's at a Moonblast. We look to call a Surf Bait, and yikes, it's now all down to Gliscor. I'm hopefully going to be able to 1-shield, wing attack farm all the way down, and hopefully there's something we can 1-shot in the back. The opponent throw the Surf, then pivot out into Skeledirge. There's only 1 win con. YOLO in the Earthquake, and the opponent not shielding. Does the opponent respect the damage? Get that Skeledirge out of here! The opponent has absolutely thrown the match. There is 0 reason not to shield. Even on that 100 energy I bait with the Night Slash, I would have the energy for an Earthquake. However, I lose CMP. However, thank you very much for the gift, trainer. GG's, and thanks for playing. Sometimes you just got to play to your win con. My win con was landing the Earthquake, so my god, am I throwing it. In the next battle, we see Kommo-o in the lead. Despite us hitting the super effective with the wing attacks, I need to go all the way for an Earthquake to do any meaningful damage. Once again, we're going to save switch into Suicune after banking a boatload of energy. The opponent can literally throw whatever they want, even a close combat won't knock out. The opponent continued to stay in, allowing me to make the Scold. Scold is resisted, but would be enough to knock out. The opponent choose to invest a Protect Shield and then send out Pidgeot. The opponent needs a Brave Bird to secure the knockout, and of course, trainer, we know you're not going to Brave Bird. Pidgeot users love to throw feather dances. We withstand the damage, return fire with the Ice Beam, and even 2-stage lowered, it looks like it's still 2 shots, which is going to mean we're going to take back switch. Not that switch is all that important, to be honest, but it's always nice to have. To my surprise, the opponent actually opted to 2 shield. Holy moly. Trainer, that's a mistake. We're going to send out the Penguin, of course. We're going to call the Feather Dance bait. We're then going to throw a few waterfalls, get this thing into Night Slash range, and then we're going to go for the snipe. Pidgeot is low enough for a Night Slash to secure the knockout. Let's see what the opponent wants to do. They send out Swampert. We're just going to throw the Earthquake. The opponent can catch if they like. I really don't care at this stage if the Penguin is going to be able to clean up. Shadow Earthquake does absurd damage. The opponent bank their energy, then send out Kommo-o. We're going to fire off the Night Slash. Night Slash doesn't knock out. Only win con for the opponent is going to be to Yola the Nuke. So, of course, we are going to respect it. The opponent played to their win con. We waterfall farm down. And that is going to be all she wrote. GG's and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see Greedent in the lead. This is a really nice matchup for us to bank a boatload of energy and then pivot, as they're applying 0 fast move pressure. We're going to tank the first body slam, look to catch body slam number 2 onto Suicune. The opponent actually hold their energy and then say switch into Trevenant. Trevenant might be a grass type, we might be a water type, but if the opponent doesn't respect the ice beam, which they do not, they're very quickly about to find out that Suicune is a Trevenant counter confirmed. The opponent throw the seed bomb, we withstand the damage, then commit to the full Snarl down, and just like that, we take back switch. I'm looking top right. If Greedent returns, so if I see the normal type and I'm going to spam the Scold, however the opponent actually send out Squidward. So we throw 1 Snarl and the Scold for optimal fast move timing, trying to get off as much damage as possible. The opponent does manage to poison jab farm us all the way down. We send out the Penguin. The opponent then make a very heads up play, pivoting out in the middle of my waterfall animation, ensuring this crunch does land onto the Penguin. We're going to throw the Hydro Cannon, see what the opponent wants to do. The opponent invests their first Protect Shield. We then go for that wham, bam, combo play, serving up the Big Mac. And the Fry's Earthquake goes unshielded and does massive damage. In an ideal world, I'm going to be able to wing attack, farm them down, leave with the Earthquake. The opponent is now going to be 4 mud shots off the next move. Can we wing attack down in 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. We cannot. I think this is actually a mistake. I should have just shielded once. Committed to the wing attack farm down, quake the squid. However, as this is an Empolion showcase and I'm already legend, what I'm going to do is save Protect Shields for the Penguin and give it as much screen time as possible. However, spoiler alert, that definitely wasn't the play, and you're going to see Tentacruel with a huge energy lead is going to be able to clean up. As much as I like to trash talk, we like to be educational. So if I would have just shielded Earthquake Squid, which would have forced the final Protect Shield, this Drill Peck would land, and you're going to see it would have knocked out Havoc. As I didn't force the final shield, instead I'm going to take a loss because I'm a potato, but we're here for a good time and for the content. GG's to this opponent. The things we do for the content, let's see if we can bounce back in the next battle. We see another Skarmory in the lead. I believe this might actually be the same opponent as earlier. Let's see if things play out differently this time. Again, we bank the Night Slash, pivot into Suicune. This time the opponent throw the Sky Attack, and I think that's a mistake, as Sky Attack doesn't do enough damage to put me into Hydro Cannon range. The opponent is going to need to full send an Earthquake to secure the knockout. The opponent tries their luck at throwing a Hydro Cannon, but that is resisted, and despite us being a Shadow, we easily withstand the damage. We're then going to throw 1 Snarl and the next Scold. The opponent this time looking to flip switch, and Trainer, you can just have it. The opponent actually throw the Hydro Cannon as soon as they get it, and it's very important to track energy. So the opponent is now going to be 5 mud shots off the Hydro Cannon. We're only 4 wing attacks off the Earthquake, so we outpace by a single quick move. Earthquake secures the knockout, and let's go Penguin. I'm not actually 100% sure if it is the same trainer we played earlier, but with that in mind, in case the Talonflame in the back, I am going to respect the Brave Bird, as Brave Bird might put me into Incinerate farm down range. It is indeed the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Bird of Death. We throw 3 waterfalls, which is 9 turns, into 2 Incinerates. The opponent invests their final Protect Shield. We're going to shield up the incoming Flame Charge. The Penguin looks for the waterfall farm down, and we get it, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, it's the Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death, this time in the lead. It's how I always play this matchup. You throw 7 wing attacks, then switch into Suicune, not only catching the Flame Charge, but sneaking a Snarl in the process. The opponent answers my Suicune save switch with Cresselia. Of course, not fantastic unless you get a lot of luck with RNG. We throw the Scold. Scold doesn't lower the opponent's attack. We don't get the attack drop. We do get a free Snarl. So the opponent is using a 2-turn move, Psycho Cut. So 2-turn into 3-turn Snarl. You want to throw at 1, 4 or 7. Never at 3 like this opponent does. It just gives a free quick move. We fire off the Scold this time. We do get the attack drop. However, the opponent is still going to outpace. I'm just going to let myself go down. We can send back out Gliscor now. I'm going to overfarm as much as I physically can and then throw the Night Slash. We're going to farm up to pretty much 100 energy, fire off the Night Slash. Cresselia certainly is in Night Slash range. If they shield, we'll just win CMP. The opponent opt to let it go. We then throw 2 wing attacks and the Night Slash. Night Slash goes unshielded. We're going to throw 2 further wing attacks, then sneak the waterfall with the penguin. However, I'm going to have to respect this move. The opponent then send out Ampharos. This was the first time I saw Empolion into Ampharos, and you can see the waterfalls are almost keeping pace with the Volt switches. We throw the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon does force the Protect Shield. If this is a brutal swing, we might actually survive, which we do, which means that waterfall does register. We even get off 1 more. So win con from here is going to be hoping a Night Slash knocks out. Of course, we're going to shield up this brutal swing as Talonflame won't be making another move. We throw 1 wing attack and the Night Slash. The opponent's going to be forced to shield as Talonflame is pretty low health. Moment of truth time. Is Night Slash enough to knock out? No! Almost an invisible HP. The opponent survives and we're going to take a very heartbreaking loss. GG's to that opponent. Heading into the final battle of the video, and this is by far my favourite battle I played with this team. Last time we got absolutely wrecked by Alolan Sandslash. Again, we try our luck at making that catch unsuccessfully. The opponent answers our Suicune Save Switch with the big jellyfish. And like I said earlier, this is definitely not a bad matchup. This time we do get the attack drop. You can see this Shadow Ball doesn't do all that much damage. If we get another attack drop, we'll even survive another. Do we get it? Let's go RNG. There's the second attack drop. Let's go Suicune. This is now a very, very easy tank of the next Shadow Ball. We're then going to overfarm. The opponent might actually shield, wanting to keep that super positive alignment. Let's see. Even taking switch isn't ideal, so forcing a shield is best case scenario. We force a protection, we even make 1 further scold. Scold secures the knockout, so we take switch and we get shield advantage. The opponent sends back out Sandslash. This is so tricky. So what we're going to do is what I like to call the peekaboo. We send out Gliscor catch onto the penguin. Okay, we've got a chance. They likely have another anti-fighter because Sandslash is double weak to that. Hopefully it's Cresselia. We're going to shield up potential drill on. The opponent full sends it. We're now in the 1-to-1 shield. And this time it's the opponent that makes a very nice catch onto Squidward. That certainly wasn't the anti-fighter I was looking for. However, this is still somewhat playable. We do resist all moves from this squid and switch timers are misaligned. So we're going to need to make use of that. We're going to return fire with the Drill Peck. The opponent likely saved their final Protect Shield. Drill Peck does land. Our switch timers popped up. The opponent stayed in for an absolute eternity. I banked the charge move. Go for the wham, bam, combo play. Throw the Night Slash. We get the boost. Back out. Comes Sandslash. We reach the Night Slash on the CMP side. Of course I'm going to shield this up. A double boosted Night Slash, Shadow and Shadow Crime will be enough to knock out. And if the opponent choose to shield this up, Empolion does win CMP. The opponent recognised that and concede the match. GG's. The RNG gods were very much spawning upon me in that last battle. That was probably the most fun win I've had all season. That was probably one of the most fun teams I've run all season as well. It was great to use a non-XL triple shadow team in the Open Ultra League, get a decent elo of around 2900 and be competitive. If you made it to this part of the video, I hope you enjoyed the showcase. I think if you're a newer player, you should prioritise building Gliscor and Empolion as they're both very cheap, very good picks in the current meta. Suicune, I think, has a nerf incoming. When the new move update drops, I think Scold is definitely getting nerfed, so perhaps it won't be as good next season as it is currently. However, with that being said, if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you like your battles featured on my channel, link to the battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.